Fred will be joining us right now.
Well, I'll just sit here.
Did you have any announcements for us today? I can't think of it much, but confirmation on Wednesday for those that are in confirmation.
Yeah, let me get this up here.
6 o'clock is the Zoom meeting and 7 is the in-person.
I have more trouble with this thing.
We'll talk about
There we
Fred
go.
and his terrible no good day pretty soon.
Yeah, it's all part of our whining and complaining theme for today, but yeah, so good to see you this morning. For folks at home, it's wonderful to be with you as we kind of go through the lesson today. If people do want to text in a comment or a question, you're certainly kind of welcome to do that. It's always good to hear from you. And as we go forward, we're going to join together in the Apostles' Creed. So you can say it with us here, you can say it with us at home. So let's join in doing that together now. So, I believe in God the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. I believe in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who is conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. On the third day he arose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From thence he will come to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen. So today we're going to learn about God's grace. And one of the things that's really important to know about God's grace is that it's just not an idea, or it's just not kind of a belief, but grace is really an action. And it's God taking the first step. So God doesn't wait for us to kind of figure things out before he comes to us in Jesus, but in grace, he comes and he lives among us. And we also see in the scripture where Jesus reminds us that it wasn't that we loved God first, but that he loved us. And that when Jesus was choosing his disciples, he said, "You did not choose me, I chose you." And so one of the things that's super important for us, especially as parents with our kids, is to help them to experience God's grace and to model it for them. And so you know how hard it is as adults, too, to kind of live into that, to take that first step. So how do we grow in our faith and practice of grace? And then how can we model it for our kids? And so we're going to go through our lesson and kind of figure out how we can do that as families today, too. So, but one question that we have up here is, how has God shown you grace? Or what good things has God done for you? So, does anybody, can you come up with something? Kind of like our theme of gratitude last time. Has God done anything good for you? Some people might think the Packers win yesterday was a gift from God. For some folks.
That was pretty awesome.
It was, yes. I can only imagine, so it was good. Yeah. But what are some things that maybe God has done that's been good for you? What do you think? You have anything back there? Yeah, if you have something at home, too, and you want to text something in, just let us know.
Does it keep you warm on cold days like middle of the winter?
Mm-hmm. I know I was thinking about that the other day. When I was driving, there was, sometimes you'll see people on the side of the freeway, and they might be homeless, or they might have other things. And just to not only have a warm home, or just a drink of water. I had a friend who was a missionary in Africa, and where he was in Malawi, there was a lot of people, just like we can just go to the faucet and get a drink. They weren't able to do that. And so sometimes we take our blessings for granted, but just the idea that I can go and get a cold drink of water, and I know it's clean, and it's safe, and it's refreshing, and we'll be talking about water a little bit more today. Certainly Jesus, right? That God comes to us in Jesus, and we were talking this morning in church about how sometimes it's, we really struggle and we make mistakes. And sometimes we do or say things that we feel bad about. But yet, with Jesus, we know that we can not only be forgiven, but through his grace, we can just sort of let go of those things. So ponder those a little bit more and see when you get home or as a family what list you can come up with of how God has been gracious and the good things that God has done to you. So we're going to get going here a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can get our video to go. We were singing God Has Given Me, and this is a wonderful image because they're jumping around and singing by a lake, and it's green and it's warm, and the polar vortex is coming. So I'll kind of take it in, and we'll see if we can get it to go. So why don't you stand if you can, and you can sing along if you want or hop around, and let's see what we can do here.
Remember this from last week? Shining on me, with full of me so much. Want the world around me see, means to me so much. Hands up, up and down, from up and down, my feet up. Make them jump up to the sky, and shout out, loud, given to me. Sun is shining down on me. My heart is full of love and peace. Me so much. The world around me see what she really means to me. To me so much. Get my hands up, around, wave them up and down. Feet up, you can jump up. To the sky, shout out, so loud, one around for the sea, God has given to me.
Okay, we only have to wait 6 more months. Yay. 7. I try to be optimistic and hopeful. Well, we do. One of the things, again, that we can be so thankful for is grace. And so we've been singing this for years, but the words are just so powerful for us. So let's join together in singing Amazing Grace. Well, again, so far we're doing pretty good on the video. So this is you can go ahead and be seated. And this video is supposed to kind of give us an intro into what we're going to be talking about today. So let's see if we can get this one going.
Thank you, Carol.
Do you have problems with bitter water? Well, then you need to try Sweet Stick. Boy, I'm hot.
And thirsty. It feels like we've been walking through this desert for our entire lives.
We have been walking through this desert our entire lives. Here, drink some water.
Yeah, that water is really bitter.
Let me try. You're right, that's terrible.
Do you have any other water?
No, that's it. What are we going to do?
I know. Let's ask Ira. Hey, Ira.
Hey, kids, what's the problem?
Ira, try this water.
Wow, that's really bitter.
Yeah, and we're really thirsty.
Can you help Ira?
Sure I can. You need Sweet Stick.
Sweetest stick.
What's that?
Sweet Stick makes bitter water sweet. Here, let me show you. I'll just put this piece of Sweet Stick right in your water skin. Give it a little shake, and now try it.
Wow, it tastes great.
It is sweet. How does it work?
Well, it all started many years ago, when Moses and the Israelites started walking through this desert. After 3 days without water, they finally found a nice pool at Mara.
Hooray, water!
But the water was bitter. The people weren't too happy with Moses.
Moses.
So Moses asked God for some help, and he showed Moses this branch. He threw the branch in the water and told the people to try it.
Hooray, sweet water!
And that was my inspiration for inventing the Sweet Stick. We've been using it ever since.
Does it only work on water?
No, it works on water, cow's milk, sheep's milk, goat's milk, and even pomegranate juice. And it comes in regular and honey flavor.
Wow, thanks, Ira.
I'm gonna use Sweetest stick anytime I need a drink.
That's super, kids.
And that's totally sweet.
Sweet. A stick?
Nothing but the most awesome videos for you guys today. So has anybody tried goat's milk? Anybody tried it? I've tried goat's milk. You don't want to try goat's milk. So I don't even think the Sweetest Stick would work. So, well, the video has to do with this story from Exodus. So do we have anybody that'd like to try reading it today? No? Mm-hmm. You are an awesome reader. That was so good. Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah. So, oh, let me tell you about my day. Do you want to hear about my day, my Saturday? This is how my Saturday started. I'm the first one up, and I got up in the morning, and the first thing that I discovered is my dog Kimmy ate off the tip of my slipper. So I have a big hole in the front of my slipper, and then so I put that on, and then I'm going out to get the paper, only to realize that the paper guy threw the paper in the middle of the snowbank. So I'm trying to trudge through the snow in my slipper with the hole to get the paper. I finally get into the house, and then Heather comes down, and she's in the kitchen, and I said, "Hey Heather, how would you like me to make me a hot breakfast like my mom used to make me? You know, the one with eggs and bacon and toast and some orange juice." And she lowers the paper and she looks at me and she goes, "If you want a hot breakfast, you can light your bowl of cereal on fire." And then she just goes back to reading her paper. So I have to eat this cold cereal. And then so I decide, well, you know what? I'm just going to go out and get a donut because I love donuts. Do any of you love donuts? And we have this amazing donut store by my house. So I hop in the car, drive over to the donut store, I wait in line, I get up, there's one chocolate iced donut left, and I order it and I go to pay, only to realize that my son took my check card out of my wallet the day before and I didn't have any cash. And so I had to leave my donut on the counter and go all the way back. I'm telling you, it was a horrible, rotten, terrible, no good, very bad day. And that's just kind of what my Saturday was like in that. So thank you for asking.
I'm so glad I asked, and I'm so sorry you had such a bad day.
It was terrible.
It kind of overflowed to your mic this morning, didn't it?
It did. It always does.
Well, maybe you guys can, on the back of your take-home sheet, draw a picture for Pastor Fred to cheer him up. You guys got some pencils, or you need some crayons? Draw something fun. Do you need some more pencils? Be creative. What's something that would make your day better if you were having a really awful day? I mean, the dog ate. I bet you the dog threw up that slipper later too, didn't it?
Probably outside somewhere.
You guys getting some really cool pictures? Maybe some of those kids drawing at home can text them in. Make Pastor Fred feel better. Parents can take pictures and send them. What you guys got? Can you show them what you got so far? You have more imagination than that. I know
That's
that.
what I said. I'm like, come on.
Maybe some of you can tell us some things that would cheer you up. Can you hold up what you got so far? I think we got some awesome stuff started there, Fred.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna hold them up?
Yep. Can you hold them up high so I can see your pictures?
I think we got some awesome starts. Don't you?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, kinda. I mean, but I just like camels, and nobody drew a picture of a camel. And then I only like green pictures, and so I didn't see any green. But I mean, it was nice and everything. But you know,
Wow. Do you guys ever want to make another picture for him if he's going to talk like that? He could have said thank you.
it's probably why I still don't get a hot breakfast at home.
I'll light your bowl of cereal on fire, I guess.
Well, the good news is that was just a story. I was just pretending. Really, I'm very, very blessed. I have a wonderful wife. I have a wonderful family. My dog is naughty, but I still love my dog. And you made awesome pictures. And what you did was really gracious. I was whining and I was complaining. And still, you decided to do something nice. You decided to do something kind. And that's just kind of like the way God treated the people of Israel. So thank you very much. That was really awesome of you.
In the Bible, God had just freed his people, the Israelites, from being slaves in Egypt. They saw his power as he sent a lot of plagues on the Egyptians. Then he made a dry path through an entire sea to help the Israelites get across when the Egyptians chased them. Those were awesome, huge, and amazing miracles. If you just experienced all these things, what would you want to say to God?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
At first, the Israelites thanked God and sang to him, but pretty soon they started complaining, just like Pastor Fred was. Even though they didn't have to be slaves anymore, they found more and more and more things to complain about, just like we did earlier. But God shows grace, and he helped them over and over. Grace is when we get something good that we don't deserve. Let's experience what they did and see how God showed his grace.
All right, you're going to have to use your imaginations. This is hard during the winter, but I want you to imagine a summer day. And I want you to imagine that is like a super hot, dry summer day, like in August. So it might be like 98 degrees, and you've been outside playing with your friends all afternoon. Your face is all red because you're so hot. Your hair is wet because you've been sweating. Your t-shirt's all sweaty. And you just got like water kind of running down your face. And the only thing that you want is a cold, cold, delicious glass of water. So can you think back on a time when maybe you were outside playing or doing a game? Yeah?
The good news is that we have some water right here. Nice clean cans. Can I have a couple of people come up?
So we need
You got
two people.
Come on up, try this water. It's gonna be really good. Come on, are you guys afraid of water? Nice,
Here we go.
clean, yummy,
Here's a brave
refreshing
soul.
water. You got one more person?
Want to go try?
There you go. Come on, one more. Come on up and have a drink with them.
There we go. So now
There you
imagine
go. No,
you're like
is
super
Vicky.
hot and thirsty.
go ahead, take your mask out and go ahead and have a nice big drink of water. Is that good? No,
It's not.
not so good. Well, this reminds me of something that happened to the Israelites. And Kelly read earlier, we talked about how the water was bad. Moses led Israel from the Red Sea, and they went down into the desert of Shur. For 3 days they traveled in the desert without finding water. When they came to Marah, they could not drink its water because it was bitter. Is that a little bitter? So the people grumbled against Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" Knowing that God could send many plagues and part a sea so people could walk through it, what could he do about getting the Israelites water? What did we see in that video?
Yeah, the sweet stick.
Yeah.
That somehow he can make it better.
You would think after seeing all God's power, they'd trust him to provide water. But in that moment, they just wanted a drink. So they complained about the bitter water. We do the same thing sometimes. In your whiniest voice, call out some things kids whine or complain about today.
This should be good. I can remember when my kids are in the van and we'd be driving to maybe the zoo or a ball game or something. What do you think they said after we were driving for a while? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're never going to get there. Anybody else whine about other stuff? Does anybody go, "I'm hungry, I want to eat"?
This Wi-Fi isn't very good.
I don't want to eat that for supper.
But it's got a tomato on it.
We're really good at it, aren't we? We all have our stuff we whine about.
It's lots of whining. But God shows grace, and he showed the Israelites grace by fixing the water even when they complained. Let's see how he did it. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. He threw it in the water, and the water became fit to drink. So, this is kind of like that.
Kind of mix your cup around a little bit.
Mix it up just a little. Now try it. See if that tastes better. A little bit better? A lot better?
I'm so glad you said it tastes better.
You can go ahead and finish drinking that glass of water.
That's good.
Why do you think God showed grace even when his people complained? Any thoughts? Did he still care? Instead of complaining earlier, I could have celebrated all the good ways God has shown me his love. I could have thanked God for an alarm that woke me up so I could be here. That I got to have, you got to have pancakes instead of cereal?
Yeah, that would be nice.
And that God gave us clean water for a shower and clothes to wear. Tell about something you complain a lot and how you can flip that into a celebration of God's grace. Do you guys want to go sit down again? You might not trust me to come up again next time, right? But it turned out good in the end. But think of how things can be flipped to celebrate God's grace and provide you with something you didn't deserve instead. What do you guys think? Are some things that you've complained about that you can maybe flip around into something else? Have you complained that your tennis shoes are too old? But have you thought, at least God gave me the ability to have shoes on my feet? Or boots? How about you, Fred?
What do I complain about?
Well, how can you flip it to make it a positive?
Well, I think one way that we can make it a positive, and it kind of goes back to last week, I think it's really, really important every morning and every night to just, if you don't write it on paper, to just make a little list of the things that you're thankful and grateful for. Just the little things that we take, kind of for granted. And that just helps us to remember that, God is really good. I think for kids too, to remember that even though, you'll complain sometimes, your parents are gracious to you because they still love you, right? So even when my kids complain, I still love them more than anything. And that can help us remember that God loves us, always. And that can kind of change how we see things, I think.
The good news is God shows grace. Even when the Israelites had a bad attitude, God helped them. And when God's grace is added to our lives, it makes everything sweet. We just need to drink it up and enjoy the sweetness of God's grace. Then we can pass it on and show God's grace to others. God shows grace, so we show grace.
Yep. And we have a little science project that we're going to do here. So does anybody, I could use 2 people. So is there anybody who would like to help me with our project? I'll show you what to do. And this is something that you can do at home. So you just need some potting soil. You need some sand. You need some gravel, some cotton balls, kind of a half of a water bottle to drink, and a filter that you would use for your coffee pot. So somebody want to come up and help me? It's really fun. So you can do it at home. So come on up here. Be brave. Come on up.
He's nicer than me. He's not going to make you drink something funny.
Well, I might, but let's see. So come on up. Come on up.
Come on.
Yep, come on up.
That'll be fun.
That'll be brave. Come on up. There you go. You can come up together. You can do it together if you want.
Why don't you two
Okay.
sisters come up too?
Want to do it together? Okay, so you guys come on over
You guys
here.
can do one side and they can do the other side.
Yeah, so come on over here. You guys can do this. It'll actually work better if you have 2. So come on around so everybody can see you. Okay. So here's what we're going to fill up in a minute. So the first thing is, why don't you take that cup? Yep, take that cup. And same thing, why don't you take this cup? And then take some of the black dirt and put some of the black dirt in your cup. Okay, so go ahead and take some black dirt. You can kind of use your hands if you want. You can pour it. Pour some in there. Yeah, a little bit. That's fine. Yep. Oh, that's good. That's all right. That's good. There you go. All right. Now, you got to take a bottle of water, and you got to open it. So take your bottle of water and open your bottle. There you go. It's on there pretty tight. This is why it's good to have a helper. Okay. So actually, I'm going to just take a little bit out, just so, yep, there we go. Okay. Let's just take a little bit out of there. Okay. All right, now pour your water into the cup. So, and fill it up to kind of a little more than halfway. So pour it in there, keep pouring. Keep pouring, good job. Keep pouring, yep. Keep going up there. Oh, a little bit more. You can put a little bit more in there. That's fine. Yeah, keep going. You can fill up the top, actually. There you go. You can put some more in. All right. Now you can take a drink. No? No? Okay, all right. Well, hold on to that. So let's take your other cup. So take this cup, and when you take that cup. All right. Now, I'm just going to put a few drops of this in there, and a few drops of this in there. Okay. So now you go ahead and take the bottle. Okay. Your sister can take the bottle. Yeah, let's fill it up about halfway. Yeah. All right. Now, we're going to have to filter this out. So we're going to make our filters, and you can work together on it. So what do you think would go in first in here? What do you think we should put in first? What do you think? How about, let's put some of those in. So why don't you take 3 cotton balls, and you guys work together. Why don't you stuff at least 3 or 4 cotton balls down in here? So you're going to stuff them right down in there, right? Yeah. When I go to the Boundary Waters, we always have to purify our water. So can you get it down in there? Push it way down in there. There you go. All right. Now the next thing we're going to put in is some sand. Okay? So who wants to put the sand in? You want to put the sand in? Okay. So take some sand. Okay, and you can go ahead and take some sand. And you guys can do it together. Okay, whoever. We're going to pour some sand in. Keep going. That's all right. That's the fun of a science project. You never know exactly what's going to happen. So sometimes you have to hold it kind of with one hand too, so your sister can help. So would you like to kind of help hold that up, somebody? Okay, yep. And then the next thing, well, what's last? What do we need to put in now? Rocks. Yep. So you got to put some gravel in. So why don't you take your hands and just use your hands to fill it up so you don't see the sand. Okay, a little bit more. There you go. We have some good scientists here. All right. Okay, I think that's good. So, okay, now you're going to hold it. You're going to hold it, okay, this part, the paper, so it doesn't fall down. And then your sister is going to pour some of that dirty water in there, okay? So why don't you hold this, same thing, kind of hold on to this, and then you go ahead and pour some of that dirty water in there. And let's see kind of what happens. Oh, hold it up. Do you see some? Oh, it's getting a lot of the dirt out, isn't it? Yeah. It's getting a lot of the dirt out. Let's see, let's do this one. Let's see if it even filters out some of the blue. So you want to try some of the blue? Yeah. Yep, I can see it's taking a lot of the blue out of it too. Right? So you guys can go to the Boundary Waters with me. So one of the things you can do is go home and kind of keep practicing with this. And so, yeah, if you just use like your cotton balls and maybe some more sand and some more gravel, as it runs through, it takes like all of that bad stuff, all of the impurities out of it. And again, it just reminds us, you know, of God's grace. And one thing that you can do every day to remind yourself of this is every day you go take a clean glass of water. You can remember that. Wow, you know, Israel was complaining one day because they didn't think they had good water, but boy, I have good water to drink, and it just reminds me that God's good and God loves us. So, well, thanks for coming up. You guys did awesome. Was that kind of fun? Yeah, so okay. Well, good job. So we'll clean this up so you can leave it there, but again, when you go home, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about that. So you can make your own at home and practice with it. So thank you. Yeah, awesome job. Yeah, well, as we get ready to kind of close and head on home and continue our day, again, we're just going to take a minute to be in prayer. So does anybody have, as we've been talking about grace and all that, anything that you're thankful for today? You have anything? What do you think? Yeah, what do you have? For family. Yeah, families are awesome. Anybody else have one? What you think? Does anybody have pets? Pets are awesome when they're not naughty. So we have pets. Yep. Yep. What else maybe? Does anybody have any friends? Got some friends to play with? Friends are awesome. Yep. We're thankful for our friends. Yeah. I'm always thankful when I can come to church, because this is my way of just saying thank you to God when we come here. And so I'm grateful that we have churches that help people. So I'm thankful for that.
Some days I'm thankful for technology, other days I'm not so much.
Yeah, technology is a tricky one, but yeah, for technology and yep. And so I think I've told you, my wife's a nurse, and so they use technology so that family members can do a Zoom meeting. So when they can't be physically there with each other, they can talk to each other, and it's really comforting. So how about who needs God's help? Can you think of anyone who maybe needs some help from God today? Who's out there that's kind of maybe sad or hurting today? Let's see. Again, I was just thinking, when I was driving over here this morning, there was somebody that was standing by the freeway and needed help. And we don't know why they were there, but I was thinking about that person as I was in my warm car and going to church, and I found myself just praying, God, I pray that you'll help that person or help me to see how I can help that person. Do you know anybody who maybe is sick today? Something like that. So you can think about those and you can lift them up, silently. So we're going to pray, and then we're going to all say the Lord's Prayer together. So let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you, Lord, for our families, our friends, our homes, just that we have clean water to drink. And just most of all, Jesus, we thank you for being with us, for giving us, for preparing a place for us in heaven. And Lord, we also pray for those who are struggling today, who feel lonely, who feel sad or hungry and are scared. And we just pray that you would just be with them and comfort them and help us as a church to see what we can do to make their lives better. And Jesus, remember us in your kingdom as you teach us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in at home. And one thing that we always say at the end of the church is, go in peace and serve the Lord. And then we say, thanks be to God. So, all right, thanks be to God, and God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
And just so people know, we are working on trying to be able to email out some of the lessons so you can see some of this at home that we are, and do it with your kids or get our take-home sheets. We're just struggling with technology a little. So as soon as we get that, we will start emailing them.
All right.